Lights out. And now the movies, folks.
Hello everybody, I'm Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor, and you are so lucky, because you are watching the Omega Files, and I'm in it at the moment, but the next bit isn't me, it's something even better.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to the Omega Files. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom, and tonight we've gathered around to talk about the movie Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which starred Patrick Troughton, Jane Seymour, amongst others, and also what freaked me out, I was watching this movie again this morning before I got on here, and I noticed that Bernard Kay was also in this movie. It was a name that slipped by me and I never even noticed it before. But okay, let's go around, get hey there, hi there, ho there's from everybody. Let's start with AJ. Welcome back, AJ.
Hey guys, good to be back.
William.
Hey now.
Harry.
Greetings, one and all.
Phillip.
Hello, hello, hello.
And joining us for the first time, Matt Thomas.
Good evening, everyone.
And, of course, the lovely Texas Tim.
Hello there.
Okay, so, yeah, it's just amazing to me, Ray Harryhausen, you know, when you watch these movies, and then after you watch some of these scenes, like even with the mosquito and all that, or the bee or whatever it was supposed to be in the one scene, you sit back and realize that's just, you know, that's stop motion photography. It must have taken them gosh knows how long just to make this little thing scuttle around and take off, fly, and all that. But, okay, let's get opening thoughts from everybody else. Let's start with AJ. Opening thoughts, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger.
Not too bad of a movie. It fell flat towards the middle of the movie, I think, though. But other than that, overall good.
Alrighty. Next up, Phillip.
I like this movie. It was action from start to finish. I mean, I thought we'll get the monsters halfway through the movie, but you got the skeletons right at the beginning when they're in the tent, when they arrive at the castle place, and you got the skeletons fighting Sinbad and his crew via the witch person. So it's a good movie, and lots of famous faces knocking around the place. So yeah, good movie.
Okay, William.
Oh yeah, I love this movie very much. I remember seeing this in the theater when it came out back in '77. And they're not skeleton; they were called ghouls, but they don't confuse them with the one from Jason and the Argonauts. They call them little.
No apologies, William.
No. It's in the book. I looked it up. I had to check it myself. That's what they called it in the book. Yeah, I love this movie very much, and of course, seeing Jane Seymour, the lovely Jane Seymour, made the movie much better.
I know, you see, I remember her more from like other shows she did later, like Dr. Quinn, but more importantly, I remembered her because a year later, she was the Serena in the Battlestar Galactica movie. And also in the first episode or so, oops, she got killed in that. Spoiler alert for you ain't seen 78 Galactica series. But yeah, that's what I mainly remembered her from. And then I saw this movie, I'm like, damn, she looks good. Okay, Harry.
I've seen it numerous times. It just comes across as a very well done movie. I mean, Pat Troughton, Jane Seymour, you just cannot go wrong with this movie. It is a well done, very enjoyable movie.
Okay, Matt Thomas.
Yeah, I watched this a few days ago and I quite enjoyed it. I mean, it's got a simple plot, but I wouldn't say it's that engaging, but I enjoyed it. And I mean, if you're a fan of the Second Doctor like me, it's definitely worth to see Patrick Troughton play a different role, because he is a lot different to what you know as in Doctor Who, and that really shows that he's a great actor and he can vary his characters. Because I mean, I know some actors today, they can do very well in a certain character, but when they do other stuff, they're not so good because they're quite similar. But Patrick Troughton's a lot different to his role in Doctor Who, so it's definitely worth a watch just because of that. And of course, Ray Harryhausen, you know, stop motion, it's just great. And for that time, it looks damn good. Even to today, it looks great. So I quite enjoyed it, yeah.
Okay, Texas Tim.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's not quite as impressive as Jason was, but it it hits all the marks. It's a little bit slower than that one, but as usual, the effects are pretty good. It's my understanding this movie suffered in the theaters against Star Wars, which came out right before or right after, compared to the previous Harryhausen flicks. But I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, it's a cool, entertaining way to pass a couple hours.
Okay, and I'm going to leave this one open. How many here have seen the movie First Men in the Moon?
I have, a long time ago.
Was it just me?
No.
Yeah.
Just me, or did those ghouls remind you a lot of those aliens they had in that movie?
Probably they used the same mold and changed it.
Yeah, because I just read that poor the stop motion figure they used for the troglodyte was later reused as Calibos in Clash of the Titans. So that's why that particular model still don't exist. But okay, I'm gonna go around and get favorite characters from everybody. Let's start this time. Let's start with Texas Tim. What are your favorite characters in this movie?
I would have to say probably the guy that Troughton was playing, not just because it was Troughton, just because he was the most interesting.
Melanthius,
yeah. He was the most interesting character in the flick, pretty much. I have to say, I think Patrick Wayne isn't exactly the best actor ever. It may not be his fault. He could have just been edited a little better, I suppose. But sometimes the way he read those lines didn't really work too well, I don't think, compared to somebody like Patrick Troughton. But yeah, I would say Melanthius was the most interesting character in there.
Yeah, because when I watched the movie, I was like, okay, Patrick Wayne. Then I looked it up. Turns out he's the second son of John Wayne.
that's why he got the job.
Exactly. That's probably why he got the job. Because I got to agree with you. Patrick Wayne was one of the things that kind of detracted me in this movie.
Just a little wooden, I think. I mean, but I wouldn't say he's that bad. It's just it doesn't. His performance hasn't aged well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, not terribly horrible, but just enough to make you go, oh, okay. Okay, Matt Thomas, favorite characters in this movie?
Agreed with Tim. Melanthius, definitely. And yeah, like I said earlier, Chance is such a great actor, and he's known for doing he can do different characters very well, and it shows off in this. And he's got a great voice as well. I mean, if you close your eyes, he sounds like John Hurt, sort of, and I quite like that. So he's a great character. And I also quite like Patrick Wayne's character, Sinbad, of course, but I think he should have had a bit more screen time as he's one of the main characters. Just didn't have as much screen time as I thought, but yeah.
Okay, Harry?
I thought Pat Troughton's character was probably the best one of the lot. I mean, they all did a good job on it, but Troughton's character just seems to stand out more than the others.
All right. William?
Besides the Patrick Troughton as Melanthius, what else also stood out was, of course, Zenobia, the witch who was trying to get everybody. She stood out, and the funny one that stood out also was Kasim, the prince to be, but not as him, but as the baboon, because you see him communicating with the Trog. You see him playing chess with his sister and beating Sinbad twice. He helped out a lot. The baboon, Kasim. So that made it funny.
Once again, excellent work by Ray Harryhausen here, bringing, a totally inanimate thing to life to the point that it has its own personality and part in the movie. Just well done stuff. Zenobia. Oh, man. I'm glad you brought her up, because did anyone else notice at the beginning when they're, her carriage is approaching the ship with Sinbad, the horses started all going nuts, and I kept thinking, wow, Zenobia has the same effect on them as Frau Booker and Young Frankenstein on horses.
Yeah.
Like, Frau Booker. Okay. Phillip.
Well, I'm going to echo William because he stole my two people. But yes, Zenobia and, of course, the baboon were the main players for me. They were quite entertaining characters to watch. As much as Patrick Troughton was entertaining to watch too, but and when I see him on something, I always think of Doctor Who, and it's a bit wrong for me to do that. Because even when I hear his voice, I hear Doctor Who, and it's a bit wrong for me. I don't know. But otherwise, those two characters were my standout people.
Okay, AJ?
Yeah, same for me, Zenobia and Patrick Troughton, but I'm going to give a special mention to the Minotaur. He did a really good job.
I love the Minotaur in this movie too. It's like when they lost the Minotaur towards the end of the movie, it's like, what's her name's son, the guy who was going to be Caliph or whatever. it would have been funny if he stuck a line out like this, like, wait a minute, who's going to row us back to the kingdom?
I would have said we're screwed.
Or when you had that guy in the water and you screaming, help me, help me. I was like, you're screaming, help me to the boat that just sank you, man. What the? Just sit there, float, and pretend you're dead. And then the Minotaur grabs the pike and goes, it's like, no, he's just helping you out of the water, man. Why are you panicking? Sure, he impaled you, but come on. All right. One of the things that stood out for me the most in this movie and kind of scared me is when I looked at the actress, I believe her name was Taryn Power, who played Dione. Was it just me, or did I have sudden flashbacks to the latest series of Doctor Who? She's got attack eyebrows, man. What the?
She was quite good in the movie, though, the actress. I mean, she's also a famous daughter, I guess, of Tyrone Power.
I believe so, yeah. I'm like, oh, man, I just couldn't believe that. She had these, and you're watching this, and Lady G's like, the first thing she noticed when she came on the screen, my God, look at her eyebrows. I'm like, she's got attack eyebrows. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, let's go to favorite parts of this movie. Let's start with AJ. What are your favorite parts of the movie?
When Patrick Troughton's sitting down talking with a baboon, I thought it would have been funny if he offered it to Jelly Baby. I thought that would have been funny. The funny thing was also the sound effect that they had for the baboon. It sounded like a pig.
It did kind of, yeah. It sounded more like a pig than it did a baboon.
Yeah, because it wasn't hooting and howling. The mosquito, or what they call the mosquito, I like that. That was cool, except it had a sting in its tail.
It was a wasp.
They called it a mosquito.
The guy who got scared called it a mosquito.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that part always confused the heck out of me because it's obviously a mosquito. It's like...
So, yeah.
Okay, Philip.
You know what I did like was when Zenobia came back to her boat as a gull or seagull, and then when she tried to transform back to being human, she was left with a bird's spill. That amused me quite a bit. So I like that scene as well.
Oh yeah, and there wasn't enough, and she winds up spending the rest of the movie with one leg like a bird, and she's just kind of hobbling around. Okay, William.
Of course, what stood out, of course, when the truck showed up and you see the lovely ladies swimming, that stood out. Even though the movie was rated G, we know we ain't gonna see nothing. Of course, Zenobia using her witch black magic to summon. That stood out. She used her black magic to summon the ghouls, and then notice that closing in the corner.
G-rated nudity. You've got to love it.
Yes. And of course, her summoning all these creatures to attack Sinbad and his men like that. That was pretty cool.
Okay, up next, Harry.
I'd say my favorite part was when the prince, even though he's transformed into a baboon, showed that he could still play chess. I mean, to do that you really had to have a lot of special work done to get to pull that off.
Yeah. I could agree. Yeah, that was really cool when they had him, sitting there playing chess with the various people in the movie. I like that the guy standing there goes, Sinbad, the baboon can play chess. Yes, he beat me twice this morning. Okay, Matt.
Yeah, for me, I agree with Philip. The seagull foot, that was great. Yeah, and I like seeing the different creatures just like that attacking Sinbad. I like the giant walrus thing. That was pretty cool. And of course, I think Kasim playing chess. I think that's a great moment as well. Yeah, and it looks great. It looks really great for a baboon. Yeah.
All right, Texas Tim.
Yeah, I think Will stole mine on this round because that was probably the best bit was the babes on the rocks and the trog showing up. But other than that, the Trog, picking up the weapon of the what's his name?
Minotaur.
The Minotaur. That was pretty cool because then he goes on to help them by fighting the saber-tooth tiger. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. All right. I think we just ran through everybody. All right. Let me stop that. Okay. Was there any parts of the movie you found slow? Because somebody brought up earlier that they found it was a bit slow in some places. I did notice there is a few parts here where it starts to slow down just a wee bit.
I think I can explain it. The scene when there's a scene that was not filmed because it would have used a Harryhausen effect. Was where the ship was sailing, they would have been attacked in the water by look like snails or snakes like that. In the book that I got, he has his drawings on it, and that was not a lot, but it was time consuming for the effect. So right there, that made that scene slow. And then another scene that was not put in was the Minotaur being created by little goose in the big stove. You would have seen them hammering him in there. But instead, you saw him cooking like an easy bake oven.
Oh, okay. Anybody else want to hop in on that? Was there any parts of the movie they found a bit slow, or?
Yeah, I wish they got attacked by like sea monsters because of that time period. They all believed in sea monsters and whatnot. I reckon a giant octopus is going to be cool.
I would say that some of the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just got back to the attack eyebrows again.
I would just say that some of the green screen wasn't very effective because a lot of the times when they were outside, they weren't outside. You just see, you'd see like the little green line around the character, and it wasn't 100% effective. It's not so bad to take you out of it, though. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just not what we're used to seeing in today's movies. So,
yeah, I did notice on a few of the overlay shots that there was a really nasty, what we call a phantom edge on some of the characters where you can see the green outlining around, but given the fact, this was 77 and, blue screen was just coming into fruition and, they were just, still working with it. You got to give them a little bit of credit on that, but at the same time, it does get a little detracting. But, see, what else was in this that really?
It's another thing I found in the book. Another scene that was cut out or not filmed was the Trog helping Sinbad fight what looked like a prehistoric rhinoceros, and that while they were going to the door to open, and that wasn't filmed. So that scene, you notice it was slow, but then, I don't know if you can see it. The drawing shows the fighting that would have happened.
Okay.
I would have liked that.
Hey, I'll hold that up for a second. Keep talking.
Yeah, what happened was it was time consuming, and they didn't use it.
Oh, that is a neat looking creature, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been great, actually.
Did they also not have a different plan for the bit in the snow, and they decided to go with the walrus or the sea lion instead? There was something that they were going to do instead of that, or did I read something wrong?
I think. Let me check.
Go ahead and take a look, William.
Let me check if I'll move forward. So far, the drawing show the big sea lion. The drawing show that they used that. I think it maybe in Golden Voyage something was cut out. I gotta look it up because I think in the Golden Voyage it was supposed to be a pit of giant snakes was cut out.
Okay.
So when we do that next week, I'll look it up.
Okay. Matter of fact, all right. Here's one I got to ask the panel. When they're approaching the Palace of Melanthius, did anyone find that just a wee bit familiar?
Indiana Jones.
Congratulations. That same temple in Malta was reused for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, amongst many, many other movies. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like, I've been here before, man. But a lot of productions do that. Did you also notice the scenes where it's a bunch of other people dressed in the outfits?
Yeah.
I
don't think the actors were ever on location. That was just they used some stand-ins that looked similar, but you could tell it was pretty obvious it wasn't them.
Yeah, it was a tactic they used back then because what they would do is they'd have a bunch of stand-ins at the film location, so they didn't have to pay to fly the actors out of the actual scene.
You mentioned Battlestar Galactica in the episode you're talking about. you see what is supposedly the cast walking around.
Snow.
No, the one he was talking about with Jane Seymour, the second one.
Planet of the Gods.
Yeah, you see them walking around in all these Egyptian things, and you can tell it's stand-ins. It's not Jane Seymour or you know.
It's a guy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Also on the location, I looked it up. The scene that supposedly looked like they were in the snowing area, they were still on the desert, and some of the days hit over 110 degrees. So, that's like in the scene you see them wearing fur. In actuality, they're wearing like Jane Seymour and the other chick. She wore a bikini under it. Because it was mad hot.
Wow.
I think I heard that maybe one of the actors might have had a heat stroke, might have passed out during filming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, original filming. The original working title was Sinbad at World's End. Live action was filmed in Almeria, Spain, Malta, and Jordan. The Treasury House of Alcazar, of course, at Petra, makes an appearance in the one scene. There were several castles near Medina, Malta, that were used for the backdrops, and they were inserted using triple exposure. The ships at sea were filmed in a water tank. And the doors that were for the what you call it, the Valley of the Aramazpai, were based on the ones in the movie King Kong in 1933. They based the design off of that.
Yeah, hold on. I got it right here. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
And that's the drawing, and that's how he looked in the movie.
So that's why I'm kind of segueing, because what was your favorite scene in the movie, like just location-wise? Was there any particular, setting that stuck out to you?
Well, of course, when they got to the when Sinbad and the crew got to the island and saw that big door, like, wow, who built that door way back then? So big, it makes you question, like they did with King Kong. You see big doors. That stood out like crazy. And of course, when they rejuvenated the prince from a baboon, that used a chain to pull him off. It could be like, man, somebody built that back then. I'm like, oh, no, why and who did it? See, that took place such a long time ago. We couldn't explore who did build that stuff.
Yeah, the scene that stuck out for me more than anything, just no acting wise, was when they were going through the tunnel. Zenobia and Minotaur and the other guy on the ship. And
those bodies that was frozen?
Yeah. And they show that frozen graveyard off to the side. That one really stuck out to me. I was like, wow, that's really well done. It's like, it actually kind of convinces you that they're actually there, the way it was shot. I just love that particular segment.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone else, any segment that really stuck out to you, like scenery or anything like that?
I think when we first saw Amphitheaters, that sort of place, like the deserty place, that was quite good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can go with that. That was pretty.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, AJ.
I was going to say North Pole. Once they got past all the ice, there was like a tropical oasis in the middle.
And
that's the same for me as well. That's the same for me.
Even though I'm not a comic book guy, every time I watch this movie, for some reason, I see that thing go, oh my God, they're going to the Savage Land.
X-Men.
Okay, so any other thoughts or any other thing you wanted to discuss on this movie before we sit down and rate it?
Well, besides doing the special effects, Ray Harrison, he co-wrote it and produced the movie.
Yep, he definitely did.
Really?
On the credits.
I didn't know that.
Was this the second and last of what that Patrick Wayne did for Sinbad movies, or did he do the one before, the one that we watched before? Was he in that one as well?
No, the last movie we did was Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, tell me, did he do any more after this one? Did he do any more?
I think it's the last Sinbad movie, isn't it?
This was the last one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because this one came out in 1977, and the Golden Voyage came out earlier than that. And the Seventh Voyage came out in the 50s, so.
Yeah, Golden Voyage was 74, right?
Around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last movie Sinbad-wise he's listed in. After this, he did Last Hurrah, 3 on a Date, Texas Detour, Rustler's Rhapsody, Revenge, Young Guns, where he played Pat Garrett, Chill Factor, Her Alibi, and the last movie he's listed in is 97, which was Deep Cover. So,
Okay.
This was the last of the type Sinbad movies he ever did, if he did any, because I don't see him in any of them before that. Before this, he was in like the People That Time Forgot.
Okay, yeah. That's what I meant. Did he do any more sort of like stop motion movies like that? So people that Land Forgot, whatever that's called again. So that would have been a third one he did initially.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he did any more after this, from what I saw.
Okay.
But of course, Jane Seymour, we all know, she went on. She had an incredible career. You know, like I said, she did Galactica the following year. She had countless movies, TV series. One of the ones that stick out is Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve. You know, and then she was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. That one stuck in my head for some reason.
She did a 007 movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Solitaire.
Live and Let Die.
That's what it was. Yeah, I could.
That was before this, though.
Yeah, it was. 73, 74.
She was also in Oh Heavenly Dog with Chevy Chase. Like I said, she has a list of movies and TV things going off the roof. Not to mention, let's see. Let's just run down. Okay, we'll run down the list real quick. She's best known for performances in Live and Let Die, Somewhere in Time, East of Eden, Onassis, Richest Man in the World. No, sorry, Onassis, sorry. War and Remembrance. She was in I'm not even going to pronounce it. It's a French movie, La Révolution Française. Wedding Crashers. Television series, Dr. Quinn. She has earned an Emmy Award, 2 Golden Globes, and she currently has a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she was made an officer of the Order of the British Empire in 2000. So she went on to have quite a bit of career. Plus, it's also nice to know this was 1977. Patrick Troughton walked away from Doctor Who, and unlike some of them, he had a major movie career after this thing was done. Not to mention those countless television programs. So
he never got typecast.
Survived being typecast. You're right, man. Okay. Now it's come to that magic moment. Let's go around. Let's rate this sucker out of 10. AJ, how would you rate Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger?
7 out of 10.
A what?
7 out of 10.
7? Okay.
7. Yep.
Phillip?
I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10 because I quite like movies like that. So yeah, 8.5.
All righty. William?
Well, you know how I am with Ray Harryhausen. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10.
All right, Harry?
I'll give it a 9. Very well done movie. Very enjoyable.
Okay. Matt Thomas?
I'm going to go with AJ. I'm going to go 7 out of 10. It was like, I didn't find it that engaging, but it had a good plot, good acting, and good special effects. So yeah, 7.
Okay, and Texas Tim?
I'm going to also give it a 9. I think it holds up pretty well for a movie that's that old, and it's a very entertaining film for its time. You know, I remember watching this on cable back in the day when, because it was on regularly, and I'd always be ready to sit down and watch it. So yeah, it's a great film.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna meet you guys about midway, so I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. Like I said, there was a few things here and there that stuck out to me, but other than that, a fantastic movie, stands the test of time. I can still watch it today, sit down and enjoy an afternoon with it, and go on a voyage with Sinbad. So yep, definitely an 8 out of 10 on this one. Okay, next week we're going to be taking a little trip, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which is an earlier movie, and we have this really sinister, mean guy named Kearno who kind of talks like this. Would you like a jelly baby? Yes, the main villain played by Tom Baker. And I hope everyone will come and join us next week when we sit down and watch this. But until then, let's get goodbyes from everyone real quick. AJ?
Thanks again, guys. I'll catch you again next time.
All right, Phillip?
See you later on the next podcast.
All right, William?
Thank you for having me here. I can't wait to be in the next podcast.
Okay, Texas Tim?
Yeah, as always, thanks for having me. Great fun.
All right, Harry? Got to unmute, Harry. Okay, now say it, Harry.
As I said, tune in next week. It's been a pleasure being here. And for those of you tuning in next week, jelly babies.
Except they'll be cursed jelly babies of death.
That is true. They will be cursed.
Because he's playing the villain in this one. And of course, joining us for the first time, Matt Thomas. I hope you enjoyed your trip here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I think I'll be back again. It's been great to talk about this movie, which I think has changed the fantasy genre, today, like all different franchises.
Okay, so until then, everybody, take care, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week for Golden Boys of Sinbad.